Hello, welcome. Sorry if I just adjust the microphone a little bit. Hello, this is a guide to how to use the GAC. Sort of. Not really. It's more so just how to build a basic TARDIS console, and if you want to, you can experiment more so, um, with your own, I guess. I'll try to be quick about this because I don't have that long per episode. So, what you want to do is when you load up GEC, you want to have a particular type of GEC. I'll put the links to the ones you should have in the description, so that will be great. Um, Presuming you have all of these, all of the mods and stuff in your load order, so if you have, for instance, Nexus Mod Manager, or if it's just in your classic Steam file of New Vegas, so when you load up that, it'll have data file, yada yada. You don't need to see that, it's all good. Alright, so from here, you want to go into data, just click that. You want to double click this. I just put the DLC because of reasons, and I have Tale of Two Wastelands, so. And you want to double click that, the ESP, and double click hexagonal because you will want to have the stuff that it brings along. It's kind of a bit iffy, but yeah, have that and okay. It says you have not set an active file. Do you wish to continue for the moment? Yes, because we don't particularly, well, we shouldn't really have to worry about it just yet. I'll explain later when you're saving. Yeah, back in a tick. Hello, back again. Sorry, just had to skip over stuff because there's a lot of things that pop up and it's like, oh, I need to do something. Oh, I need to do something. It's all weird. Alright, so what you want to do to get to the interior is you want to click this and just scroll all the way. Well, that was quick. Scroll down to FWVT Interior 1. Yeah, so it says Interior 1. It's necessary. Double click. And it will theoretically load in the render window. My computer's a bit slow, so it'll just take a minute. Oh, where is that coming from? Yes, this is perfect. Okay, so with GEC Power Up, which is the little introduction that I have, the modification, sorry, that I have to GEC, it helps make things run better. What you want to do is just ignore all these messages. Yes to all. Just ignore them. They're not they're not really important at all. Hopefully. Alright, so now that you're in GAC-ish, what you want to do is make sure your touch, like you're in this window, you see how that's active? Like that's more colored than this? Yeah, stay there. Now what I do is I just click with the left click once and shift. Shift gives you a rotational view of an object if you've clicked on it. There's also the free view, but I don't particularly like it as it does a whole lot of hullabaloo. Alright, so this red thingy, magical button called T, gives you a top-down view. Yes, this red thingy is very important. It's what you need to start stuff. Okay, that's just a friend talking to me. Yes, so this is very important. Everything you need to do for the, well, console, room, whatever, needs to be in there. You can't have stuff going out of it, otherwise it doesn't activate. So for the time being, I'm going to leave that open. I can turn it off technically. I've just got to remember the way to do it, but this is the important stuff. You need to keep it in there, and I'd recommend using everything from this cell because it just makes things easier. There's less, loading in between things. But yeah, this is what you want to focus on. Back in a tick. Alrighty, now we're back. Okay, so what we're going to do is set up a room, just really quickly. So what I'm going to do, because I am clever a little bit, I tend to put myself on a pedestal when I say these things, because it's just like, oh, nobody's thought to use that. It's just more so like, I don't know. You can call me arrogant if you want. I personally prefer to call myself intellectually advanced. No, I'm just normal. I'm crazy. A little bit, maybe, possibly. Now, what are we looking for? Alright, this is perfect. Okay, so you see this little doohickey? We are going to go to the edit section and copy. You can also duplicate, which will make the same thing, like it'll copy the object but place it exactly where it is. So if you want to like rotate stuff, which I'll feature later on, if you want to use that, it's it's nifty, but because we're so far away. Oh, here we go. Another example. Shift view won't work while you're here. Anyhow, because we're so far away, it's kind of a bit of a hassle to duplicate and drag it along. So we are just gonna there. Alright. So what we're gonna do is edit, paste render. Ta-da! We have liftoff. So yeah, that's relatively okay, but I'm not going to do a TARDIS console with a corridor. No, that would be silly. So if you double click, what you can do, I'm just moving this out of the way so I get a nice view. You can double click and you can change the rotation. So see how it rotates? Magic! And it speeds up as the longer you hold it down. You can do incremental. If you're really pedantic, you can do like 0, 2, 3, 5, 4, whatever. You can even change the setting at which it adjusts. But for the time being, we are going to go all the way down. So it's exactly straight. And then XYZ is its position in the cell. So Z is upwards and downwards. Those are your most important ones. This is kind of... I don't really use X and Y because what you can do is if you just close this, you always have to close it if you want to adjust it in the window. You can just grab and da 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 da. Also, be careful with this one because I've grabbed the activator instead of this. You want to make sure it's got the particular cross. So when I do that, now it's got the full way arrow, so that means I can manipulate that object there. What I'm going to do is send it all the way up into the heights of the box. Yes, so all the way up. The recorder was just like, oh, hello, your 10 minutes have finished up, so you're gonna have to, skedaddle. Okay. As you can see, it's gone out of the window, so we can't really see it, but if you're still highlighted, you press the T button, and voila, you're above it. So shift, you can manipulate the view. So let's just shortcut this, because this is taking a bit of a while. So we're just going to go delete that, 2000. Boom. That kind of didn't go anywhere really, but yeah. Also, you want to make sure that you're away from console rooms because they tend to be a bit iffy about working. Sometimes they're like, I don't really want to have the nav mesh working close enough. So if you give it a nice space to be in, then it should be all fine. Now what we're going to do is we're going to expand the size of the room. Just, I don't know, that's nice. Nice, luscious sort of thing. Also, because the floor is slightly flat, I am going to duplicate it. So make sure you have the object highlighted edit, duplicate. And now when oh, wonderful thing, hold right click while on it, you can rotate. And if you, for instance, did that and you let go of the click, you're like, whoops, didn't want to do that. Control Z takes it all away. Alright, so we're just gonna rotate this to be 180 because that is halfway, and then we're going to just slide it in so it's all nice and comfy. Get above and we'll sort of go down. Oh yeah, scroll is zoom. Very useful. Also quite cumbersome if you don't know what you're doing, but fortunately I do. Yes. Now, we have two walls. So we have walls. More than one. We have two walls. But we don't have a floor. This is a bit of a problem. So, what we're going to do is we're going to roll all the way over here, just fly, and you see how there's a little green thingy? That means I've highlighted it. Got to click on it to highlight. Copy render, and click in the window, roll back, click, triangle. Wonderful. Alrighty, so now we're going to edit, paste render. Now this is far too big for the room we need. Far, far, far too big. So we're going to downsize it. Now this is where you can get finicky, because this is not always going to match the size of the room. Oh dear, we went slightly too far. We just need that. Alrighty. So on top, thank you. Just going to down all the way. I've forgotten about something. You see, when working with these sort of things, it tends to get a bit dark. So what you want to do is come over to this little object window here, click on light, right click, new. And if you have your name with this, for example, let's call this the isosceles. That's how you spell isosceles, right? If I don't know. Isosceles. Blue light. And then select color. Let's go for a really vivid dark blue. Add to custom colors. Okay. We want a radius of, it's pretty small, so we'll bump that up to 200. Fade, 5, and a pulse effect. Alright. Isosceles, so this little filter thing is beautiful. ISO. Oh, yes. Another thing. It searches for the words, not for, searches for the letters, not smartly. So if you want to bring it into the real world from this object window, you go to the count, click, hold, drag, in the window. Well done. Oh Jesus, it's not given much light. That's where we go back into edit base, which is what you want to do if you want to edit the mothership, theoretical mothership of this thing. And then let's go all the way to, oh, this is a nice number, 512. Half a gigabyte. Woo, that's bright. Yes. Now let's continue. Let's shrink this. Oops. Alrighty. All the way down. Wow, that is a really bright blue, I may consider. Okay, this is where we can get finicky. Because you see, it doesn't match the exact size, but if I go up one, It's way too big. So we're going to approximate. That looks like a 0.23 to me. How about you? Ooh, that actually looks like a 2.5. Sorry, 2.4. So now we lower it down. Oakley dokley, as we say in Australia. Alright, so that's not too bad. I'm a bit iffy about the whole round thingies around there, but I like the light. It's a bit bright. I might change that later on. Oh, that's another thing. We can see a crack. You don't want cracks. Cracks are nasty. So, 5, slightly bigger, but now no cracks. Well, hey, wonderful. Alright, so naturally, after investing all this time in selecting something, you would want a console. Yes? Well, I'm choosing today, so we are going to roll all the way here, scroll back, whoops, and if you had a wee bit of a tinkering around, whoops, around with things, oh, bloom, you know, certain things can be manipulated. So, this is the coral room, as you know, with all its glory, and what we're going to do is we're just going to make sure that we have the console. Oh yes, we do. And it's got a nice mesh. So just Control Z, because whatever you save here will be saved. But when you Control Z, the object is still highlighted. So fortunately, copy render. Well, hey, where are we? Yes, occasionally I get lost. Yes, and there's also a bunch of goodies if you know how to look around. Just a little bit. Alright, so now what we're going to do, edit, paste, render. Whoa, that is a tad close. Alright, so you can do the boring thing of just going down and getting things adjusted and doing, and good. Let the hate flow through you. You know, that sort of thing. Alright, so I've lowered it a bit, but as you can see, it's taken a bit of time and actually looks quite big for the console room. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to amp up the size and then go to the other one and amp up the size. Then I'm going to go to the floor. I set, oh, that is the floor. And I'm going to amp up the size to 3.5. Oh, that's way too big. Maybe, sorry about that. Recording program likes to stop at a bit less than 10 minutes, so theoretically I would have finished my sentence if it wasn't so rude. Alright, whoopsie daisy. Control Z, not a problem. So we may just take that back to 3, because that fits nicely. And then, because the dimensions have changed, you need to change the placement of the object. I might shrink that down a bit, actually. It's just a tad too big. Alright, also, the runes seem have had to decide where they want to be. Yes. Sorry, I tend to talk in weird voices, so if you're at all comfortable with that, don't watch this. It's fine, you can watch it if you want. Just make sure you have your biscuit and tea before going to bed. Alrighty, let's just move that around so it sits nicely in the middle. God, this great big thing is in the way. Alright, and now we go the boring. Actually, let's not take the boring way. Let's. Alright, so you see this? What we can do is we can cheat a little bit. with a value 1,372. 1,372. Or was I just going bonkers? Nope. There we are. Nearly there. Just going to drag this over, and just because I'm not entirely fond of having it so high, I'm going to go down a tidbit and have it actually in the floor, just because, you know, that's my personal preference. Actually, it is a bit big for the core, but it's also, you know, I'll leave it like that. It's fine, it's fine. Alright, so we have our console, and this is technically meant to be the end of part 1, but due to me rambling on so much, I may just make this part 2, like setup and console building. So this is the basics of what you're going to need to start building a console. So you need a room, a floor, and ideally a roof, but it's up to your own discretion what you do with that. Also, just a recommendation, have a light. It makes understanding where things are, and, you know, gives you something nice to look at while you're working. You can manipulate it and do what you want later, so whee! But yeah, I'll move that downwards in the next episode. But yeah, it's all nice, it's all pretty good. See you in the next. Oh, actually, I forgot. Okay, so this is what you want to do if you want to take a break. You go up to save, and if it's your first time, you will give it a save name. So this can be, as just a recommendation, follow the basics thing of FEW theme. Now, you see, I've got ISO there already, because I kind of started on this and tinkered around with it so I could, you know, see if things would work, because, hey, I like to think before I act. No, I don't. I was having a go at this and thinking about it, and then I thought, this is a great console for people to look at. Well, if I say so modestly. Anyhow, so I can just put it in there and just be like, hey, save. And it's, yeah, yes, overwrite, whatever. And then you close the deck, and if you wanted to, reload it, I'll talk about that in the next episode. Right, tally-ho!